Have you ever been outside and seen this just flash of brilliant color up in a tree? Or maybe a hawk soaring overhead and you just thought, wow, I wish I could capture that. Well, today we're going to show you exactly how to do it. We're going to dive into the incredible hobby of bird photography. It's such a powerful feeling, right? To see something so beautiful out in nature and just want to hold on to that moment forever. But for a lot of us, that feeling is immediately followed by this little voice of doubt in our heads. And there it is. That's the barrier. It's this idea that, real bird photography is only for the pros with those gigantic lenses and some kind of secret knowledge. It can feel really intimidating. And honestly, it stops a lot of people before they even get started. But what if I told you that's just a myth? Seriously, you do not need thousands of dollars of gear to take a beautiful picture of a bird. In fact, your journey can start today, right now, with a camera that's probably already in your pocket. So let's get you started on that journey. Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll talk about the absolute basics, gear, and what to do when you're out there. Then the really fun part, how to actually capture a stunning photo. After that, we're going to cover something that's maybe the most important part of all, the photographer's code. And finally, we'll talk about what you can do after you get the shot. First up, let's build your adventure toolkit. And seriously, don't worry, you don't need a ton of expensive stuff to get going. You've probably already got the most important things you need. Okay, if there's one single tool that is the most important in your toolkit, it's Zoom. Zoom is the key that unlocks this whole world because it lets you get those incredible close-up shots without ever bothering the birds. It's all about getting that amazing view from a really respectful distance. Now, it doesn't matter what camera you're using, the trick is to use optical zoom. So think of it like this. Optical zoom uses real glass to actually bring the bird closer, which keeps your picture nice and sharp. Digital zoom, that's just the camera cropping and blowing up the picture, which is why it always looks kind of grainy. Now, if you're using a bigger camera, a telephoto lens with a low f number, that's your best friend. That's the magic that gives you that beautiful blurry background that makes the bird just pop. So you've got your gear. Now, where do you even find the birds? Well, you don't have to go on some huge expedition. Your own backyard can be an amazing place to start. Public parks are fantastic too, because the birds there are usually a little more used to people. And here's an insider tip for you. Check the websites for your local parks. They often post recent sightings from other photographers and birders. Okay, time for the fun part. You've found your bird, you're in position, now what? It's time to actually make some magic happen. Let's talk about the settings and the little artistic tricks you need to capture that perfect shot. To get a nice, sharp photo pretty much every time, there are just 3 key things to set up. First, try out aperture priority mode. This lets you control that awesome background blur we talked about, and the camera handles the rest. It's a game changer. Second, set your autofocus to a continuous or tracking mode. That just tells your camera, hey lock onto that bird and don't let go, even when it moves. And finally, just glance at your shutter speed. You want it fast enough to totally freeze the action and get rid of any blur. And here is your secret weapon, exposure compensation. You know when you take a picture of a bird against a bright sky and it just looks like a dark shadow? Well, just find the little +/- button and add some light. Dial it up. If the bird is super bright against some dark trees, dial it down. It is a super simple trick that can completely save a photo with just one quick adjustment. It's that easy. Okay, let's talk a little bit about art. There are 2 golden rules that will instantly make your photos way more interesting. First, the rule of thirds. So instead of putting the bird smack in the middle of the frame, try placing it a little off to the side. It just creates a more balanced, more professional-looking image. And second, get down on the bird's eye level. When you shoot from their perspective, you create this incredible connection. You really feel like you're right there in their world. And please remember this, the background is just as important as the bird. A busy, messy background with a bunch of distracting branches can totally ruin a great shot. So before you click, just take a half second to see what's behind your subject. A nice, clean, simple background will always make your bird the true star of the show. All right, now that you know how to take a great photo, we need to talk about what is, without a doubt, the most important part of this whole hobby, the photographer's code. These are the ethical rules that are all about respecting the amazing animals we're photographing. The number 1 rule, the thing that should guide every single decision you make out there, is this. The bird's well-being always comes first. Period. No photo is ever worth stressing out or harming a bird. We are guests in their home, and we have to act like it. This is a huge one, especially during nesting season. If you get too close to a nest, you can scare the parents away and they might abandon their eggs or their babies. It's a tragedy. So please always keep a respectful distance. That's what your zoom lens is for. Let them feel safe. And rule number 2, never, ever chase a bird or use bait to try and attract it. Chasing a bird just stresses it out, and using food or even bird call recordings can change their natural behavior, which can be really harmful. The best photos, the truly special ones, are the authentic ones. So just be patient. Let nature do its thing. And finally, a simple but crucial rule, leave no trace. This just means whatever you bring into nature with you, you'll bring it back out. We want to leave the environment exactly how we found it, or maybe even a little cleaner. By following these rules, we can all make sure these habitats and the birds in them are protected for years to come. Now, once you've taken some photos you're proud of, guess what? The adventure is not over. In fact, it's just getting started. So let's talk about what happens next, from organizing your shots to sharing your story. So when you get home, take a few minutes to pick out your favorites. Maybe try some simple edits, like adjusting the brightness or cropping in a little tighter. And of course, sharing them online is a fantastic way to connect with a whole community of people who love this stuff. But for me, the most rewarding part is using an app or a book to figure out what bird I just saw. That's when it stops being just a picture and it turns into a real connection, a real story.
So there you have it. The gear, the techniques, the ethics. You have everything you need to start. Now it's your turn. The only thing left to do is to get out there and start looking. You never know what you're going to find. So what are you waiting for? Get out there and show us the story your first photo will tell.